scene rewinds 3 months earlier, when a dropped fork sparked instant tension at dinner. Eric's stepfather seized the moment to lock the door and deliver a brutal lesson, while his mother watched, convincing herself it would make Eric obedient. After each beating, Eric was forced to fake reconciliation. The violence became routine, so did the resentment inside him, burning like a flame ready to explode. Eric's simmering anger exploded into violent outbursts, leaving classmates injured and others too afraid to intervene. As the fights escalated, the principal's patience ran out. After a serious incident, Eric was expelled, marking the end of any tolerance for his behavior. Eric's mother urged him to contact Gunnar, a lawyer and family friend. Gunnar handed Eric his card, saying, "Call me if you need help." Eric said nothing. After Gunnar left, his mother, disappointed by the expulsion, revealed she had enrolled him in Starburg, an all-boys boarding school, his last chance to change and avoid repeating his mistakes. Determined to change, Eric vowed to graduate without trouble. On his first day at the new school, freshly groomed and in uniform, he embraced a clean start. His roommate Pierre, the top student, was warm and welcoming, and they quickly bonded. That evening, in the dining hall, Eric met Johan, who eagerly explained the school's traditions where social status, not just personality, shaped how others treated you. As Johan finished speaking, he noticed Otto and Alan's sons of wealthy aristocrats targeting a student beside Eric. Known for bullying less privileged classmates, they used their family influence and student council roles to act without consequence. After dinner, Pierre invited Eric to smoke. Eric hesitated, recalling his promise to his mother, but Pierre brushed off Johan's warning about punishment, insisting they wouldn't get caught. Eric reluctantly agreed. The next morning, Otto and Delay tried to initiate Eric. When he refused, they redirected their hostility toward Johan. That night, Johan was hit by a car and seriously injured. Meanwhile, Otto and Dylan plotted against Eric, summoning him to the student council and ordering him to clean dirty shoes. Eric refused and walked out. Enraged, Dylan asked how to respond, but Otto advised waiting for the right moment. Later, Eric vented to Pierre, unable to hide his frustration despite his anxiety. Pierre listened silently, tension on his face as Eric spoke. He warned that defying Otto and Dylan invited brutal punishment. But Eric, once a bully himself, dismissed the caution, confident he wouldn't back down. That night, they tried to find non-violent ways to resist, but most students chose obedience, accepting humiliation over painful beatings. The next morning, Dylan confronted Eric, demanding an apology. Eric refused, prompting Dylan to challenge him to a fight. That evening, Eric arrived at the meeting spot with Pierre and Johan, ready for anything. Pierre warned Eric that Otto and Dylan were notorious for using dirty tactics and enlisting others to overpower their victims. That night, Eric first accepted Dylan's challenge but changed his mind, recalling his mother's advice to stay focused and graduate. Pierre comforted him, easing his anxiety. Meanwhile, Otto, Dylan, and their friends waited, and after hours without Eric, Otto mocked him as too weak to show. The next day, Otto publicly named Eric atop a list of students defying the council. In a mock trial, Otto sentenced Eric to a month of hard labor digging a trench around the school. Eric worked overnight but couldn't finish and ate alone in an empty hallway. Maria, a cafeteria worker, approached, moved by his story, which reminded her of her brother. Maria shared that her brother had also defied authority. After the meal, she returned, urging Eric to take care, then kissed his cheek and hugged him. Both knew such a bond between student and staff was forbidden, risking Eric's expulsion and Maria's dismissal. Yet, the moment stayed unforgettable for them both. That night, Eric and Maria defied the rules. Over Christmas break, Eric returned home to a warm welcome from his mother, but a cold reception from his stepfather. His stepfather grilled him about his punishments, including suspension, arguing that the noble's son deserved respect and criticizing Eric's poor grades and behavior. Eric's stepfather beat him again, and though his mother saw the pain, she didn't intervene. After the break, Eric returned to school and sought Maria, longing for her. Under the moonlight, they reunited and embraced. When Otto and Dylan learned of Eric's return, they tried to prank him by pouring dirty water on him, but Eric and Pierre woke in time and cleaned up the mess. Seeking revenge, Eric sneaked into Otto's room, turned off the lights, and poured dirty water on him while he slept. The next morning in the dining hall, Eric pretended to follow a scent, stopping by Otto with a smirk and calling him filthy. Furious and humiliated, Otto lost his temper. Otto rushed in and punched Eric, but Eric stayed firm, recalling his promise to his mother. The principal and teachers nearby ignored the fight. Maria stepped in, urging Otto to stop, quietly admiring Eric's resolve despite her disappointment. Seeing they couldn't break Eric, Otto and Dylan shifted their focus to Pierre, his only friend. At lunch, Otto called Pierre over, but Pierre refused, denying any wrongdoing. Undeterred, Otto challenged Pierre after school, threatening harsh punishment. With Alan's help, they provoked Pierre to involve Eric, knowing Eric wouldn't ignore his best friend's bullying. Their plan was to force Eric to act, confident no one dared challenge their power. That night, Pierre reluctantly accepted the challenge and faced Otto, Dylan, and their gang at the battleground. Knowing it was a test of courage, he fought fiercely despite being outmatched. Soon his strength faded, and a single blow from Otto knocked him down. Eric watched in disbelief as his best friend lay motionless, humiliated, and reduced to a game. By the time Eric arrived, it was too late. He carried Pierre back and tended his wounds, then urged him to rest before leaving quietly. That night, Eric confided in Maria, venting his frustration. The next morning, Otto's group threatened them again, prompting Eric to rush back, determined to protect his vulnerable friend. Eric returned to find the room empty. Pierre had taken his belongings. On the bed lay a letter thanking Eric for being his only true friend. Pierre apologized for leaving, but urged Eric to keep fighting Otto and his gang to break the cycle of injustice at the school. The letter sparked a fire in Eric's heart, strengthening his resolve. He vowed to honor Pierre and fight for the oppressed. Embracing his mission, Eric confronted Dylan in the dining hall, declaring he would face Otto in the arena to end the tyranny. An hour later, he stood alone in the arena against Elaine and von Scheneen, known for their strength. Elaine and von Scheneen relied on family power, not skill. Using agility and tactics, Eric quickly defeated them, silencing the room and shocking Otto. Confident, Eric approached for the final showdown. Beforehand, he sought Maria in the kitchen, but learned she'd been fired and had left the school. Maria's absence shocked Eric but fueled his resolve. He vowed, "For those who've suffered, I won't stop." A staff member quietly gave him a letter from Maria, echoing Pierre's farewell. Holding it, Eric felt deep sorrow as it conveyed her blessings and hopes for his strength. An Otto henchman saw the exchange and reported it. Soon, Otto and his men raided Eric's room, seizing Maria's letter. Otto read the letter aloud, exposing Eric and Maria's secret relationship. Seizing the chance to punish Eric, he flaunted the letter as proof and rushed to the principal. The principal, stern and decisive, summoned Eric and expelled him for serious violations linked to Maria. Eric accepted the punishment calmly. Before leaving, he asked for Maria's letter, but the principal refused, locking it away as evidence. Stripped of everything, friends, Maria, and hope, Eric felt empty, yet that pain sparked a fierce new resolve. Determined to confront Otto, Eric tracked him to a remote forest. Armed with a stick and a cold gaze, he ordered Otto to kneel. Stripped of his arrogance, Otto panicked and obeyed. Desperate, Otto offered $10,000 to save himself, but Eric refused. Overwhelmed by fear, Otto broke down crying and begging for mercy. Moved, Eric stopped, held Otto's face, and promised not to kill him, a vow to Otto and to himself, defining the man he chose to be. Leaving Otto trembling, Erik returned to school, packed his things, and called Gunnar, the lawyer who had offered help. Confident, Gunnar arrived at Starburg and, after hearing the details, they headed to the principal's office. The principal, calm and surrounded by staff, showed no sign of concern. Erik begged to stay and reclaim Maria's letter, but the principal refused, denying any leniency. Then Gunnar warned him to reconsider or risk exposing the school's culture of discrimination and staff-enabled bullying. Under Gunnar's pressure, the principal conceded. Maria's letter was returned, and Otto's student council disbanded, ending the oppression and restoring hope to the students. Erik deeply thanked Gunnar for defending his rights and transforming the school. With Gunnar's support, Erik stayed, ended Otto's reign, and thrived academically. He graduated proud, earning his peers' respect. Erik's mother was proud, but his stepfather still blamed him. Unshaken, Erik stood firm when struck and vowed it would be the last violence in their home. Fed up with fear, Erik expelled his stepfather, ending years of suffering. He rebuilt his life, reunited with a close friend bound for Geneva, and vowed to stay connected. Renewed and hopeful, Erik embraced a confident, bright future.